All right. Good morning, everyone. We're here for a pretrial conference. I want to make sure everybody can see and hear me. This is Wade Mercer, the county judge in Jackson County, covering the county case in Bay County and his state versus Richard George Ramey, Bay County case 24-691 CT. I see Mr. Graham on behalf of the defendant. I see Mr. Mitchell on behalf of the state. Madam Clerk, are you with us in the Bay County Courthouse?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I heard something. Did you say yes?
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk, are we on record in Bay County or do you need to put us on record here?
Yes, sir. We are on record here.
Perfect. Good morning, Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Graham. Gentlemen, we're here for a pretrial conference. I know last time we spoke, there had been some discussion of whether y'all wanted a jury trial or bench trial. So, Mr. Mitchell, let me start with you and see where we stand, sir.
Your Honor, me and Mr. Graham have been in contact since that time, a couple different times. I think what we're looking for today is, I believe that August 26th is a jury selection day. Is that accurate for Your Honor? Or is it the 25th?
I believe that's a Bay County date. Madam Clerk, can you help us out? August 26th,
yes,
is that?
That's a jury selection date.
So
okay.
What we were looking at doing is maybe just getting a date during that week, if Your Honor would give us a date certain so we could go ahead and issue subpoenas on both sides.
For a jury trial or for a bench trial?
Bench trial, Your Honor.
Okay.
Hey, Judge, I've got
so that means that. Go ahead, Mr. Graham.
I've got relevant information to that you need to hear.
Okay.
Everything he's saying is true, Judge, but here's the problem. I cautioned both of y'all when we set this that I have a major sex case set for that week. And the style of that case is Dwayne Melvin Gordon. The case number is 21-14-29. Judge register. We were going to continue that case. He refused to do so. It is set for trial as of right now that week. And that he is charged with 4 counts of sexual battery and 3 counts of L&L. So that's probably a 2-day trial that will occur that week. Now, it is possible that we might settle it because the prosecutor is having a Zoom conference with the victim and her mama Friday. If they allow him to do so, we've got a plea already basically worked out. If they veto it, then it is set for trial that week, and I'm going to be out of sorts. But the next week, if it's available, we can look on the calendar and find a time the next week, because what we're thinking, Judge, is a half a day. I mean, if we started at 9 a.m. or 1:30, this bench trial probably wouldn't take more than 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Mr. Graham, let me ask you, first of all, the waiver of the jury trial has got to be in writing. So is it your plan to I think that's what I read. Is it your plan to do a waiver of jury trial and go to a bench trial? Is that what you and your client have talked about?
If that's what you want, we'll do it. We can do it on the record, however you want it.
I think it's got to be one or the other. And since he's not here today, I'd ask you to go ahead and do a written waiver. That way we don't get there that day and him, I guess he might have the right to change his mind anyway. I don't know. So let me ask this question, gentlemen. Since we're not talking about a jury trial, I don't know that there's any importance to having it the week of a jury trial. I would rather pick a day certain and let's get this matter resolved one way or the other. Mr. Mitchell, what does your calendar look like the week after the jury trial week, which would be the week of the 3rd? Because the 2nd is Labor Day. So is there a day the week of September 3rd, Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Graham, that we could pick half a day? I know that I have. Go ahead, Mr. Graham.
How about Wednesday afternoon on the 4th at 1:30?
Mr. Mitchell?
Your Honor, we'll make ourselves available whatever date the court tells us. So if that works for the court and Mr. Graham, we can issue subpoenas and have everybody available at 1:30.
I'm going to set this matter for a bench trial, assuming the defendant files a written waiver of his right to a jury trial, which I'm confident Mr. Graham will do, for Wednesday, September 4th at 1:30 in person. It'll be an in-person trial, not a Zoom trial. The defendant needs to be there, Mr. Graham. And that will be at a courtroom in the Bay County Courthouse because that's where venue used to be there, Mr. Graham. And that will be at a courtroom in the Bay County Courthouse because that's where venue lies. Madam Clerk, is there any chance of us having a problem finding a courtroom? I'm not familiar with the courtroom scheduling process in Bay County. Is that going to be pretty easy to find a courtroom down there this far in advance?
I will go as soon as I go out of the courtroom today, Judge, and go and speak with Heather, who does the the courtroom assignments, and make sure that we can have a courtroom on that day.
Okay. So we're looking at Wednesday, September 4th at 1:30 p.m. Mr. Mitchell, do you anticipate any pretrial motions that I need to set a hearing date or that we'll need hearing before then?
No, Your Honor, I do not anticipate any.
Mr. Graham?
Nor do I. And just, Judge, so you'll know, Mr. Mitchell and I have a good relationship. We talk regularly. If something was to pop up that we couldn't hash out, we wouldn't hesitate to call you to get you to referee it.
Hey, thank you. The only other question I have is this. It's been a while since I've had a bench trial, and I know that there are cases where the court in limited cases can compel a bench trial, but if the court does that, the court's there's certain restrictions on potential sentence. My question for you is, when the parties are agreeing to the bench trial, I know there's case law that says the court can't reject that, and I don't have any intent to do so. But my question is, in the bench trial case, when it's agreed to by the parties, are there any restrictions on sentence in the event the defendant is found guilty? Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't think that he can be incarcerated in a bench trial.
What about adjudication?
Yes, he can be adjudicated.
And Mr. Graham, I just want to make sure we're on the same page on that issue before we go down this road. Do you agree that if he's found guilty, which is a big if, that he cannot be incarcerated, but he could be adjudicated? Do you agree with that, Mr. Graham?
I agree with the first half. I'm not sure about the second half. I need to check, Judge. But Josh, are you pretty sure of that?
I'll double check, but I'll double check and make sure I'm correct and shoot you an email.
If the judge compels a bench trial, that's in limited situations, you cannot adjudicate and then you cannot incarcerate. But I have never seen a case. I just haven't had one where the parties agreed without the judge being involved. So I need to make sure we're on the same page. So gentlemen, that's an important issue because that may affect whether he wants a bench trial or not. So can y'all take a couple of minutes and see if you can find any law on that? And I'm gonna do the same thing on my end. Yes, sir. I'm doing it now.
Yeah, and I think Josh is right, Your Honor. And whatever we got to do or whatever we got to waive, we'll do it so that we can do the bench trial.
So you're saying even if he cannot be incarcerated but could be adjudicated guilty if he were found guilty, even if that's the law, Mr. Graham, your client still wants a bench trial, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, fair enough then. So we'll figure that out obviously before then. But it sounds like he wants a bench trial either way. Sounds like the state wants a bench trial either way. Wednesday, September 4th at 1:30. Mr. Mitchell, anything else today on behalf of the state?
No, Your Honor, nothing on behalf of the state.
Mr. Graham, on behalf of your client, sir?
Nothing for me, Judge. I'll get that waiver done. I'll sign it and get Mr. Ramey to sign it. And thank you, Josh.
Yes, sir.
Thank you both. Madam Clerk,
Judge,
anything else we're missing, ma'am?
I just want to verify, you do want me to go ahead and set it on the bench trial even before Mr. Graham files that notice, correct?
Yes. I'm confident that Mr. Graham is going to file the notice. If something happens and his client changes his mind, Mr. Graham will notify us immediately and we'll schedule a pretrial, okay?
And I can tell you, Judge, he ain't going to change his mind.
All right. Thank you to both of you. And Madam Clerk, thank you. And we'll see y'all Wednesday, September 4th at 1:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you.